Welcome to the Buck Stops here, the official audio show of NotHallOfFame.com, and I'm your host, Kirk Buckner, the Buck, the guy who owns NotHallOfFame.com and the sister sites. Check them out if you haven't already. The Fictitious Athlete Hall of Fame, the Fictitious Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and the United States Athletic Hall of Fame. A lot of you know that even though I just created the US Hall of Fame, I live in Barbados, and I'm a Canadian. Go figure. But anyway, I love when I meet people who have done a lot of athletic things out in the US and other places. And I got to speaking with John Jones. Now, John played college basketball at Illinois State, and I've always been fascinated with the whole recruiting process. So I talked to him about his process going to play basketball for a pretty good mid-major program in Illinois State, and how he used his scholarship to really become very successful in Barbados and where basketball took him, and really the plight of athletics in Barbados. There's so much raw talent here, and we really talked about what the country could do to help develop that. So without further ado, let's bring in John. John, thanks so much for joining me. It's a real pleasure to talk to you. I kind of find it funny, though, that how I got to learn that you were a player at Illinois State was by you randomly seeing me wearing a Wichita State t-shirt.
Yeah, man, that Saturday, usually, you wouldn't see nobody wearing a Wichita State t-shirt in the middle of Barbados because nobody really knows about that school here, you know?
Well, that's why I was so confused, because when I saw you and then you say you got to take that shirt off, like, what? Like, my first thought is, like, you don't even know what the hell I'm wearing.
Yeah, and then, they were like a rival in college. So, you never were allowed to wear that gear around us, really. I mean, we got some really good battles back in the day.
Mm-hmm. So you played basketball, and you were also doing shot put and javelin in school. How did you get recruited from Barbados to Illinois State, and were you recruited by other schools?
Yeah, I was definitely recruited by other schools, and I started off track and field, and then I kind of weighed the options between both. Track was good. I was very good at track, and I actually had, I would say, a majority of my scholarship offers were track oriented. I chose basketball because it was so much more fun to be part of a team and train. I mean, track was just out there by yourself, you know. It's not really a team oriented sport, and there was also a coach by the name of Elvis Ford that was coaching at Illinois State at the time, and I felt happy going into an environment where, there were other bases there, so it was pretty easy to decide. I went on a visit, and I had the opportunity that they gave, and they gave me a full ride, and I pretty much decided in like 1 or 2 days I knew I was going to go to Illinois State.
Who else was looking at you?
For track and field, I remember the coach from Louisville was really interested in me because I had I threw 64 or 63 in shot. 63 in shot in high school, because I went to high school for 1 year in the States, and it was like Missouri, Indiana State, Indiana, Notre Dame, like all of these schools were interested. I was getting tons of mail coming in the post like every week or so. You would get coaches reaching out, like, can't believe who's this guy, came out of nowhere, and just was good at both sports.
Mm-hmm. So how did you manage to make that first move, though, before you were, you said you went to 1 year in high school in Missouri? Like, how did that come about?
It was in Indiana.
Indiana, sorry.
There was a coach that came here, and he had a camp over the weekend, and I was really outstanding at that camp over the weekend in basketball. I mean, I had just came off a track season doing really good, and I said, well, just give it a shot and see how it goes. And from there, the word started spreading, and I tried to get my grades on point. Mm-hmm. And so I could basically qualified for a scholarship. Ideally, I wanted to do both sports in college, but I know it was a pretty demanding load going into a full-time university role on either track or basketball.
All right, so after you sort of you make that decision to go there, one of the things I sort of really love about like reading about you, because there's a great bio about you on Illinois State still on their website. So you studied really what you're doing now, agribusiness.
Yeah, I wasn't sure at first. I didn't choose this major till it was maybe my sophomore year.
Oh, okay.
But I was always keen at growing stuff from the time I was young. You know, growing stuff for extra pocket money, like in high school and stuff when I was here in Barbados. And it always was a love for just nature and being outside. I wanted to finish my degree in international business, but I didn't have a strong background in the foreign languages. And the workload in some of the accounting classes were pretty heavy freshman, sophomore year. And playing full-time basketball it was kind of, you miss one class, you'd have a work game, you know, you're behind like 10 steps and then you come back, it's all confusion again. So I was forced to change my major, and then I said, I didn't have to do much to change to agribusiness because I already had all the framework done. It was just like taking 2 or 3 extra classes. So I was like, I'll just change right away and I hope for the best.
Now, when you were playing, because you said you were playing at center.
Yeah.
What is your like biggest memory that you have on the court in your time with the Redbirds?
I would say definitely beating Dayton. I think Vincent was ranked number, I think at the time it was number 9 or something like that. And I mean, the camaraderie of our team that game was tremendous. Our fan base at Illinois State is always good. You know, it packed the arena, and then the student section was pretty. You know, they're all in your face and stuff. So, like when we won that game, I felt like the whole university came together. And that was probably my most memorable memory, in college.
Because correct me if I'm wrong, at Illinois State, like the top sport is basketball. I know in a lot of NCAA schools, football is usually king, and then basketball is a close second. But there's a lot of schools in the U.S. where the basketball program is the biggest thing on campus, and Illinois State's one of that.
Yeah, I mean, our basketball was pretty up. I would say. In terms of competing, the soccer girls were always making the NCAA championships year after year. So I would say that they were in terms of performing top of the year, they were definitely up there. But the biggest sport on campus was definitely basketball.
And you got to play, and you didn't get into March Madness, but you were in the NIT.
I think my sophomore year we did make the NIT, and my senior year, I think it was, or even my sophomore, my senior year, we almost made the tournament because I remember we were up by 21 at half, and we lost the game to Northern Illinois. Not Northern Illinois, I think it was, Northern. Yeah, we had lost again to Northern, and that was pretty heartbreaking because it was our one chance to make the NCAA tournament, and we were up by 20 at half. Usually, when you're up by 20 at half, you usually don't lose games, you know. Yeah, so we never made the NCAA tournament. I was there, and we got really close, and it came together good, but it's just a shortfall that we didn't get there.
After your career ended, did you think about playing in Europe?
I actually played for a while. I played in 2 places. Played some like semi-pro in the States, you know, for the summer leagues and stuff. But then I went to Bolivia for 5 months and played in the league over there. It was good. You know, it was a fresh new experience, and it wasn't like, you know, being like the guy the center that would come off the bench or nothing. It was like, you know you actually got to compete, you know, and it was good. It was a good experience. I also went to Australia for 9 months, and that was amazing. During my time there, I think we lost like 3 games. Well, our team was very good. It was stacked with some guys, some Australian guys that went to college in the States, and then some really good Australian point guards and shooters. And we actually won the whole championship, the FIBA, which is the South Australian League. And that was pretty amazing. Probably one of the best times in my life.
Okay, yeah, because I wasn't able to find anything sort of after that, so it's really good to know where else basketball took you around the world, and like that's an experience that you just can't buy.
Yeah. I mean, I've been to a lot. I didn't go to Europe, but I went to South America and Australia, and then playing with the national team. I've been to Caribbean islands and stuff. Playing so basketball has definitely took me to a bunch of places that you probably wouldn't even see if you weren't playing the sport.
Yeah, because you were on I was just going to say, you were on the national team here.
Yeah. I came home during the summer to play on the national team, and we were doing really, really good. It was a very solid team at the time. The bigs, we had a good big rotation. Mm-hmm. A few key players were missing or injured. And that roster was good, and the experience was good, but we needed some more time to gel together before we went into the tournament. I felt a bit like it was rushed, but that's almost tournaments are when you have a bunch of overseas players. You know, you come together for a couple of days and then you go forward to play as a team. So if there. Probably needed a little bit more chemistry, but yeah.
Now, I was talking to someone who I think we both know, Celia Collymore, who also played. Celia Collymore.
I think I know her.
Yeah, Bayesian Fusion.
Yeah.
So, because I talked to her about her basketball career, because she played Division II. At Pace. Mm-hmm. And so she talked to me about sort of the struggle of really growing basketball players here just because the facilities aren't there. Now, she's a bit older than you, so I guess I don't know if you sort of shared the same facilities or maybe the same experience. Basketball, I mean, with the amount of the people here and there's a lot of athletes that I see here, it just feels like it could be so much bigger than it is.
It's a funny thing you say that, because I mean we were complaining about opening the gyms, like getting the kids in the gym, even access for national athletes to get in the gym. It seems to always be a fluky and a touching subject here, because they want to provide, but I only see it really when only when you start to shine, or I guess you could say that everyone kind of pays the road for you. But there are a couple of places that do open their doors. I remember CrossFit 246 was very helpful in terms of me staying home and being able to lift and stuff. But the gyms, I definitely think that they could open up a little more. You know, even if it's like for an open run or a couple of open sessions a week to let the kids work out. Because honestly, working out outdoors, I mean, some people do it, but you get so much more done indoors in terms of, not getting hurt or injured, and then being able to run up and down, just get your legs on there. So these are privileges that we had in college, and I hope that some other kids here that are coming up do get to experience this opportunity, because I mean, the courts and stuff, and we're at school were pretty much open 24/7. So there was no excuse to get more work in or to just be in the gym. I didn't grow up having that, and maybe if I did, I probably would have been much more better off or much more ready for college beforehand.
Now, I know you're super busy with all the work that you have now with your farming business, but do you still have time to play, and are you coaching anyone?
I used to play like a couple open leagues, like on Saturday mornings or Sunday mornings. But honestly, since I stopped playing, I would rather go we live on a beach. We live on an island with the beach, so I'd rather go to the beach or walk my dogs or get some form of action, or get some different form of exercise. Mm-hmm. In this day and age, because there's so much more going on in the world, and you're dealing with COVID and this and that, so they actually shut down all the actually physical contact sports. So there's not much you can do in terms of getting the sweat on.
Well, not only that, too, just a lot of people who are listening outside of the Caribbean might not necessarily be that aware of what transpired in St. Vincent's with the volcano there. And I imagine for you that must have been a little bit more trying than others, because this brought down a lot of volcanic ash onto the island.
Yeah.
And with your crops.
It was quite...
Yeah.
It was quite devastating, honestly. Like, I felt like, coming on to summertime, and it's usually my best work. It's when the conditions, the rainy season ends, you get a lot of sunny days. So it's obviously the days that you start to get optimal production out of your greenhouse. And then I remember like leaving the farm thinking how good my production would have been for the following week. I guess you can say business call it conking chickens before the hatch. Mm-hmm. And it was quite mind blowing to come back and see what happened on the farm. But we, over the period of the last couple of days, we were able to regroup, clean up, and I lost some damage, but all damage wasn't done. So there's still ways to go forward, because it's honestly out of your control. So, it's got to start the process all the way back over again.
Mm-hmm. So another thing also, too, I learned about you, you're not the only one in your family who's been a successful athlete.
No, man, I've actually been living in the shadows probably my whole career, because my younger sister, which she went to Kansas State, she's a phenomenal athlete, man. She's always been top tier when it comes to competing. From a very young age, I think she won her first gold medal at 9 years old. So she went to the last Olympics, and she's looking to go to the next Olympics. And she actually won the NCAA championship indoors, and I think outdoors she placed also. I think she still holds the record for the heptathlon high jump indoors. Yeah, and that was amazing. Like, being able to see her growth throughout the years, and coming from competing against each other to actually seeing her compete on the world stage it's very heartwarming to me, knowing how far we've came.
So, because I saw that too, that she was the flag bearer for the closing ceremonies in the 2016 games.
Yes.
And she going back to 2021, you said? Or this year?
Yeah, she's trying to go back to the next Olympics. She hasn't made the standing yet, but she's going through a series of meets right now to qualify. And so I have no doubt that she will be on that team going to the next Olympics.
And that's in the heptathlon?
No. She's only doing the long jump.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she's a phenomenal athlete. Almost anything that she does, she can do well. But she chose to do long jump this time around. Mm-hmm.
And so where's she based now, in the U.S.?
She's based in Atlanta right now. She's training with a former Olympian coach, and there's a strong group of athletes with a lot of camaraderie in that circle. So I feel comfortable with her training right now. She's actually in great shape, and she's competing tomorrow actually in California.
Oh, okay.
I spoke to her today, and I'm going up to probably see her. I'm going up in May to probably see her, and hopefully get some reaction and be there to support.
Now, what do you think Barbados really needs to do to generate more high-level athletes? There's other Caribbean countries, like Jamaica's done reasonably well in certain events. I know that a lot of great Barbadian athletes, or Bajan athletes rather, they might be focusing on cricket, because that seems to be the biggest sport here. That was something I learned very, very quickly. But what would you like? Yeah. Do you think there's not enough support here, or do you think that There is, but it's just not diverted in the right way. Well, like, what are your thoughts?
You probably hit the nail on the head right there when you said that cricket is the most popular sport, and if we've always been a culture of cricketers, and cricket is actually a fun sport for most Barbadians. You find more quality cricketers than the guys that are in the other sports, and there are facilities here to match the amount of kids playing cricket. There's any given Saturday there's a match or there's a chance to compete. So that's probably part of the reason why there's so many good cricketers coming from Barbados. Some of my friends that I play basketball with actually turned out Jason Woda, which is one of the captains of the West Indies team. He actually played basketball, and I remember playing in high school. He gave us a whooping. So cricket was definitely a choice, and it's also more avenues with cricket. It being the West Indies team, or you can make a regional team, or you can get a contract anywhere in India. Or there's so much going on surrounding cricket that I guess you can say it's more of a way out for most athletes that are good at it. Okay. In terms of the other sports, the best thing I could say would be child development. Like, if you can develop from a young age here, and get your opportunity and shine when it's time to. I think most athletes in track and field or basketball, if you want to reach another level, you definitely have to travel and go through the whole process of going to school or high school. So the best thing that you can do from a young age is actually do your academic work and actually shine and become the best among your peers, and that'll get you noticed pretty quickly.
Yeah, definitely, and certainly with the connections that you have, I would imagine that can sort of help out other youngsters who might want to pursue that, a career maybe in track or in basketball, or and just really get that scholarship, because that can open up so many other doors.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. I always I remember I helped a couple kids out already, from the different islands. Bahamas has an amazing program, and they always seem to produce those 6'10", 6'11", because most college coaches, they'll say they can teach basketball, but they can't teach height. And
right.
You got a handful of guys coming out of 6'10", 6'11". You could work with those guys to get to make them up standards. And then there's something that Buddy Hill, for instance, from Bahamas. He's very good, and he's playing in the NBA. So there was a couple guys at Syracuse from the Caribbean, also from the VA. I went to school with a guy from the VA, Jamal Samuels. He plays on the national team there. And there is definitely opportunity, more opportunity when you're taller, but that doesn't take away the credit for being able to play the game. I would be more than happy to share any resources that I have, being that I was out there and I understand it. And I'm always telling youngsters, what they should do academic-wise, how to get what they want. I'm always sharing advice every day. The biggest thing for me is if I can get more kids to get the same opportunities that I got. Open up their eyes, even if they don't make the NBA. Open their eyes to living a better life, getting an education, seeing the world, using sports to get what you want in this life or get ahead. Most people probably can't afford. My scholarship was about 200 and something thousand Beijing, and most families here that would take a toll on you to send your kid to school academic wise. So why not get a full-time scholarship and benefit from it?
Mm-hmm. I didn't even realize that Buddy Hield was from Bahamas.
Yeah, Buddy Hield. Yeah,
Okay.
He's from Bahamas. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I saw him play as a rookie live.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well,
yeah.
Learning all the time.
He's very, very good. One of the great shooters from the Caribbean.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, doing very, very well for a very exciting Kings team. Didn't think I'd be talking about the Sacramento Kings today, but
I don't get to watch much NBA basketball. I'm always working or going to bed early, being that we're on different time zones. But I mean, every chance I get to watch a Celtics game, or every chance I'm in New York, me and my uncle usually go catch a Knicks game, or because he has season tickets, so I get a chance to enjoy what I used to do, you know, from in the stands point of view, you know, and you get a chance to enjoy and see life for what it is in that set, you know. You've moved on, and hopefully somebody else could fill your shoes. There has to be some other kids coming up after me that want to experience the same experiences.
Mm-hmm.
And there are tons of tall kids in the Caribbean, tons.
As someone who's very short, I've looked up at many of them.
And if you go on Twitter, you'll see that Coach Zaire, or it's Coach Z.
Mm-hmm.
He's been here, and he runs a skills academy for young kids to help them develop ball handling drills. You know, just running up and down at 7 and 8 years old, learning the fundamentals of basketball. Actually plays a great role when you get a little older. You know, you don't have to teach kids like how to don't travel or how to double dribble. Like they actually know the rules of the game. You know, and that's something I didn't learn from a young age. You know, I got hot right up into playing and not really studying the fundamentals of basketball from a young age. So that's the biggest thing that I think that needs implementing. Just more youth play, so they'll understand the fundamentals. Because if you see in the States, like from a young age, like 2, 3, 5, there's so many developmental leagues that kids can play in, and most American kids, you know, they get really good when they go to high school, or they stand out when they go to high school. But then there's some that even start before that. But most kids in the Caribbean don't get an opportunity.
Well, hopefully that's something that can change in the future. Where can everyone follow you on social media?
My social media handle is the Vincent Farmer. The same works for both Twitter or Instagram, and that's the only social media that I keep up with these days.
Okay.
Facebook, I mean, it's John Jones, but I don't really go on there often. But Twitter is definitely nice to my time away from everything. I enjoy Twitter. It's very interactive, and usually it's about food or veg or how to grow this or how to grow that. So that it gives me an opportunity to stay sharp in terms of you know, using the information I know to pass it on to others.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I use my social media for these days.
Yeah, and people can sort of follow along and just see some of the great bounty of this island.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much everything that you want to know about Barbados, you can probably find on my page.
Absolutely. Well, John, thank you so much for coming on the show. I really appreciate that. And keep staying safe, and I'm sure we'll be ordering some more food soon.
Hey, thank you very much, man, for having me.
All right, take care. Thank you all so much for listening. Stay safe, everyone, and look for a lot more content from us at NotInHallOfFame.com.